Santa and the Reindeer. "This is the hour," said Santa Claus. "The bells ring merrily." Then on his back he slung his pack, and onto his sleigh climbed he. "On Dancer, on Prancer, on Donner and Blitzen, on Comet and Cupid," cried he, and all the reindeers leaped but one, and that one stood silently. He had pulled the sleigh for 1,000 years, and never word spoke he. Now he stood in the snow, and he whispered low, "Oh, what do you have for me?" "Well, I have games and toys for girls and boys," said Santa cheerily. The reindeer stood as if made of wood. "But what do you have for me?" "The socks are hung, the bells are rung," cried Santa desperately. The reindeer winked at a falling star. "But what do you have for me?" Then Santa reached into his beard, and he found a tiny flea, and he put it onto the reindeer's ear, and the reindeer said, "For me? Oh, gee!" And into the blue away they flew with the flea. And the moral of this Yuletide tale you know as well as me. The Toucan. Tell me who can catch a toucan? Well, Lou can. Just how few can ride the toucan? Well, two can. What kind of goo can stick you to the toucan? Glue can. Who can write some more about the toucan? You can. The planet of Mars. On the planet of Mars they have clothes just like ours, and they have the same shoes and same laces, and they have the same charms and same graces, and they have the same heads and same faces, but not in the very same places. Love. Ricky was L, but he's home with the flu. Lizzie, our O, had some homework to do. Mitchell, E, probably got lost on the way. So I'm all of love that could make it today. The dirtiest man in the world. Oh, I'm Dirty Dan, the world's dirtiest man. I never have taken a shower. I can't see my shirt, it's so covered with dirt, and my ears have enough to grow flowers. But the water is either a little too hot, or else it's a little too cold. I'm musty and dusty and patchy and scratchy and mangy and covered with mold. But the water is always a little too hot, or else it's a little too cold. I live in a pen with 5 hogs and a hen, and 3 squizzy lizards who creep in. My bed, they itch as I squirm and I twitch in the cruddy old sheets that I sleep in. If you look down my throat with a flashlight, you'd note that my insides are coated with rust. I creak when I walk and I squeak when I talk, and each time I sneeze, I blow dust. The thought of a towel and some soap makes me howl, and when people have something to tell me, they don't come and tell it, they stand back and yell it. I think they're afraid they might smell me. The bedbugs that leap on me sing me to sleep, and the garbage flies buzz me awake. They're the best friends I've found, and I fear they might drown, so I never go too near a lake. Each evening at 9 I sit down to dine with the termites who live in my chair, and I joke with the bats and have intimate chats with the cooties who crawl through my hair. I'd brighten my life if I just found a wife, but I fear that never will be. Until I can find a girl, gentle and kind, with a beautiful face and a sensitive mind, who sparkles and twinkles and listens and shines, and who's almost as dirty as me. Point of view. Thanksgiving dinner's sad and thankless, Christmas dinner's dark and blue, when you stop and try to see it from the turkey's point of view. Sunday dinner isn't sunny, Easter feasts are just bad luck, when you see it from the viewpoint of a chicken or a duck. Oh, how I once loved tuna salad, pork and lobsters, lamb chops too, till I stopped and looked at dinner from the dinner's point of view. Magical eraser. She wouldn't believe this pencil has a magical eraser. She said I was a silly moo, she said I was a liar too. She dared me to prove that it was true, and so what could I do? I erased her. Spaghetti. Spaghetti, spaghetti all over the place, up to my elbows, up to my face, over the carpet and under the chairs, into the hammock and wound round the stairs, filling the bathtub and covering the desk, making the sofa a mad mushy mess. The party is ruined, I'm terribly worried. The guests have all left unless they're all buried. I told them bring presents, I said throw confetti. I guess they heard wrong 'cause they all threw spaghetti. Helping. Agatha Fry, she made a pie, and Christopher John helped bake it. Christopher John, he mowed the lawn, and Agatha Fry helped rake it. Zachary Zugg took out the rug, and Jennifer Joy helped shake it. And Jennifer Joy, she made a toy, and Zachary Zugg helped break it. And some kind of help is the kind of help that helping's all about. And some kind of help is the kind of help we all can do without. If I had a brontosaurus. If I had a brontosaurus, I would name him Horace or Morris. But if suddenly one day he had a lot of little brontosauri, I would change his name to Lori. Benjamin Bunn. Poor Benjamin Bunn from Wilmington, his buttons will not come undone. He hasn't changed his clothes since last July. And why? 'Cause no one can unbutton him, no matter how they try, poor guy. And all that he can take off are his socks and shoes and tie. And all that he can do is sit and bite his tongue and cry, and he cannot take a bath, so just lets the water run, and he can't go to the toilet, and he can't get any sun. And life just isn't any fun for Benjamin Bunn from Wilmington, whose buttons will not come undone. The Battle. Would you like to hear of the terrible night when I bravely fought the... Oh, no? Well, all right. Minnow Minnie. May I ask you if you've noticed, may I ask you if you've seen, my Minnow Minnie who is swimming in your Ovaltine? For you've gone and drunk it up, dear, and she isn't in the cup, dear, and she's nowhere to be found, dear. Do you think that she is drowned, dear? The Razor-Tailed Wren. The razor-tailed wren, he'll pretend he's your friend, as he cuts all the grass on your lawn. But do not leave anything sticking far out, or swishity, it will be gone. Please do not make fun of me, and please don't laugh. It isn't easy to write a poem on the neck of a running giraffe. The Bloath. In the undergrowth there dwells a Bloath, who feeds upon poets and tea. Luckily I know this about him, while he knows almost nothing of me. The Yip-a-Yuck. In the swamplands long ago, where the weeds and mud-glumps grow, a Yip-a-Yuck bit on my toe. Exactly why I do not know. I kicked and cried and hollered, "Oh!" The Yip-a-Yuck would not let go. I whispered to him soft and low. The Yip-a-Yuck would not let go. I shouted, "Stop, desist, and whoa!" The Yip-a-Yuck would not let go. Yes, that was 16 years ago, and the Yip-a-Yuck still won't let go. The snow may fall, the winds may blow. The Yip-a-Yuck will not let go. The snow may melt, the grass may grow. The Yip-a-Yuck will not let go. I drag him round each place I go. This Yip-a-Yuck that won't let go. And now, my child, at last you know exactly why I walk so slow. What's in the sack? What's in the sack? What's in the sack? Is it some mushrooms, or is it the moon? Is it love letters, or downy goose feathers, or maybe the world's most enormous balloon? What's in the sack? That's all they ask me. Could it be popcorn, or marbles, or books? Is it 2 years' worth of your dirty laundry? Or the biggest old meatball that's ever been cooked? Does anyone ask me, hey, when is it your birthday? Can you play Monopoly? Do you like beans? What is the capital of Yugoslavia? Or who embroidered that rose on your jeans? No, what's in the sack? That's all they care about. Is it a rock or a rolled up giraffe? Is it pickles or nickels or busted bicycles? And if we guess it, will you give us half? Do they ask where I've been or how long I'll be staying? Where I'll be going or when I'll be back? Or how do? Or what's new? Or hey, why are you so blue? No, all they keep asking is what's in the sack? What's in the sack? I'm blowing my stack. At the next one who asks me, what's in the sack? What? Oh no, not you too. Won't you? Barbara's eyes are blue as azure, but she is in love with Freddie. Karen's sweet, but Harry has her. Gentle Jane is going steady. Carol hates me, so does May. Abigail will not be mine. Nancy lives too far away. Won't you be my Valentine? Alice. She drank from a bottle called Drink Me, and she grew up so tall. She ate from a plate called Taste Me, and down she shrank so small. And so she changed while other folks never tried nothin' at all. Shadow wash. I've never washed my shadow out in all the time I've had it. It was absolutely filthy, I supposed, and so today I peeled it off the wall where it was leaning and stuck it in the washtub with the clothes. I put in soap and bleach and stuff. I let it soak for hours. I wrung it out and hung it out to dry. And whoever would have thunk that it would have gone and shrunk, for now it's so much littler than I. Recipe for a hippopotamus sandwich. A hippo sandwich is easy to make. All you do is simply take 1 slice of bread, 1 slice of cake, some mayonnaise, 1 onion ring, 1 hippopotamus, 1 piece of string, a dash of pepper. That ought to do it. Now comes the problem, biting into it. 18 flavors. 18 luscious, scrumptious flavors. Chocolate, lime, and cherry, coffee, pumpkin, fudge, banana, caramel, cream, and boysenberry, rocky road, and toasted almond, butterscotch, vanilla dip, butter brickle, apple ripple, coconut and mocha chip, brandy peach, and lemon custard, each scoop lovely, smooth, and round. Tallest ice cream cone in town, lying there on the ground. Poor Angus. Oh, what do you do, poor Angus, when hunger makes you cry? I fix myself an omelette, sir, of fluffy clouds and sky. Oh, what do you wear, poor Angus, when wind blows down the hills? I sew myself a warm cloak, sir, of hope and daffodils. Oh, who do you love, poor Angus, when Catherine's left the moor? Ah, then, sir, then's the only time I feel I'm really poor. What a day. What a day! Oh, what a day! My baby brother ran away, and now my tuba will not play. I'm 8 years old and turning gray. Oh, what a day! Oh, what a day! Ma and God. God gave us fingers. Ma says, use your fork. God gave us voices. Ma says, don't scream. Ma says, eat broccoli, cereal, and carrots. But God gave us tasties for maple ice cream. God gave us fingers. Ma says, use your hanky. God gave us puddles. Ma says, don't splash. Ma says, be quiet, your father is sleeping. But God gave us garbage can covers to crash. God gave us fingers. Ma says, put your gloves on. God gave us raindrops. Ma says, don't get wet. Ma says, be careful and don't get too near to those strange, lovely dogs that God gave us to pet. God gave us fingers. Ma says, go wash 'em. But God gave us coal bins and nice dirty bodies. And I ain't too smart, but there's one thing for certain. Either Ma's wrong, or else God is. Bang clang. I'm Big Barney Zang of the railroad gang. My partner is Charlie O'Flynn, and I hold the nails for the big steel rails, and Charlie, he hammers 'em in. And most of the time, he does just fine. But now and again he fails. Maybe tomorrow I'll hammer him in and let Charlie hold the nails. Traffic light. The traffic light simply would not turn green, so the people stopped to wait as the traffic rolled and the wind blew cold and the hour grew dark and late. Zoom, vroom, trucks, trailers, bikes, and limousines clattering by, me oh my, won't that light turn green? But the days turned weeks and the weeks turned months, and there on the corner they stood, twiddling their thumbs till the changing comes, the way good people should. And if you walk by that corner now, you may think it's rather strange to see them there as they hopefully gaze with the very same smile on their very same face, and they patiently stand in the very same place and wait for the light to change. Me stew. I have nothing to put in my stew, you see, not a bone or a bean or a black-eyed pea, so I'll just climb in the pot to see if I can make a stew out of me. I'll put in some pepper and salt, and I'll sit in the bubbling water, I won't scream a bit. I'll sing while I simmer, I'll smile while I'm stewing. I'll taste myself often to see how I'm doing. I'll stir me around with this big wooden spoon, and serve myself up at 1:45. So bring out your stew bowls, you gobblers and snackers, farewell, and I hope you enjoy me with crackers. Double-tail Dog. Would you like to buy a dog with a tail at either end? He is quite the strangest dog there is in town. Though he's not too good at knowing just exactly where he's going, he's very, very good at sitting down. He doesn't have a place to put a collar, and I'll admit it's rather hard to lead him, and he cannot hear you call, for he has no ears at all. But it doesn't cost a single cent to feed him. He cannot bite, he'll never bark or growl. Just scratch him on his tails, he'll find it pleasing. But you'll have to take him out for twice as many walks, and I'll bet that you can quickly guess the reason. Paul Bunyan. He rode through the woods on a big blue ox. He had fists as hard as chopping blocks, 500 pounds and 9 feet tall. That's Paul. Talk about workin' when he swung his axe. You could hear it ring for 1.5 miles. Then he'd yell, "Timber!" and down she'd fall. For Paul. Talk about drinkin', that man's so mean that he'd never drink nothing but kerosene. And a 5-gallon can is a little bit small. For Paul. Talk about tough, well, he once had a fight with a thunderstorm on a cold, dark night. I ain't saying who won, but it doesn't storm at all around here, thanks to Paul. He was 90 years old when he said with a sigh, "I think I'm gonna lay right down and die. 'Cause sunshine and sorrow, I've seen it all," says Paul. He says, "There ain't no man alive can kill me, ain't no woman round can thrill me, and I think heaven just might be a ball," says Paul. So he died, and we cried. It took 18 men just to bust the ground, it took 24 more just to lower him down, and we covered him up and we figured that was all, for Paul. But late one night, the trees started shaking, the dogs started howling, and the earth started quaking, and out of the ground with a "Hi, y'all," comes Paul. He shook the dirt from off his clothes, he scratched his butt, then he wiped his nose. "You know, being dead wasn't no fun at all," says Paul. He says up in heaven they got harps on their knees, they got clouds and wings, but they got no trees. I don't think that's much of a heaven at all, says Paul. So he jumps on his ox with a fare thee well. He says, "I'll find out if there's trees in hell." And he rode away, and that was all we ever seen of Paul. But the next time you hear a "timber" yell, that sounds like it's coming from the pits of hell. Then a weird and devilish ghostly wail, like somebody chopping on the devil's tail. Then a shout, a call, a crash, a fall. That ain't no mortal man at all. That's Paul.